Hey there. In this video we'll be covering, can anyone publish a book? Yes, it's possible for even you to publish a book. And the steps in this video can make the journey a little bit easier. By the end of this video you will learn why you can and should write a book, and what could happen if you do. And stay tuned until the end of the video for a resource I really think you're going to enjoy. Let's dive in. Before we go any further, let's get this out of the way. Anyone can write a book. You can write a book. I've written or ghostwritten 30 books. You can do it. Anybody can do it on any topic, but it really requires you writing the book that you're meant to write. You know, you don't want to write a book about geothermal physics and have no experience in it. No one's going to care about that book. It's going to land as a dud on Amazon. No one's going to read it. But you want to write a book that taps into your experience, your expertise, the lessons that you can share, and the message that only you can give to the world. It's so easy to think about all the books that already been written and think that, oh, the story's already been told. Maybe some elements of the story have been told, but not in the way that you need to share it. So think of your book in terms of the uniqueness that you can provide to the topic, even if it's a topic that is well worn and covered often. You need to find a way to make it fresh and different and unique. So think about the thing inside of you that is unique and different and special, and be able to put that in book form. What makes you the right person to write the book? And that's not a discouragement. I think it's important to be able to ask that question. Why are you the perfect person to write this book? You really need to think about that. You need to explore it. You need to uncover it, have an answer to it. It's not easy to overcome that challenge. You know, I think back to a book I wrote about a baseball player named Ken Caminiti, and that was the challenge that I faced. A lot of people were like, why are you writing this? You know, did you know him? I didn't know him. I was just a baseball fan. But I was really devoted to 1990s baseball, and I ended up interviewing, hundreds of people associated with the game at that time. So I became an expert because of the interviews and because of the interest I had. But there was an obstacle, there was a gap. And you need to be able to figure out why you're the right person for the story that you're telling, and tap into your why to make the book as powerful as it can be. When you think about writing and publishing your book, you have to think about the path forward to publication. There's really two different paths that you can choose from. One is the traditional publishing path, and one is self-publishing. If your book is slated to be published traditionally, it means that you have a book proposal that you've written. It's a 20 to 50 page document. You've lined up a literary agent. You've lined up a publisher that's going to publish the book. There's a lot of steps there, and typically traditional publishers are focused on platform and visibility in the authors that they choose to work with. So a lot of times it's not even about the story. It's about the ability of the author to promote and sell copies of the book. So if you have a visible presence, and if you have a social media platform, you have an opportunity to sell books through a sales funnel, through email blast, through something else, you have strong connections with other influencers. Those are the things that traditional publishers are interested in. It's interesting though, because you don't really need to do those things. The traditional publisher will take on some of the risk. They will pay you money up front, but you are giving away kind of money in the end, in the sense, because you can't make as much money off each book sold. So it's a give and take. Self-publishing, there's a much easier path to publishing. You don't need to get it sold. You just have to work with professionals to be able to bring out the best version of the story, but there's less gatekeeping, there's less obstacles to get a book published. It takes less time. Traditional publishing will take 12 months, 9 months, 18 months, whatever the case may be, from the time that you submit the draft to be able to see it on publication day. It could be another year or more, whereas with self-publishing, that gap is a lot smaller. It could be 2, 3, 4 months, it could be 6 months, but you have a lot more control over that process. It's important to think about which path you want to choose, and more people are choosing self-publishing because of the ease of publishing. And I'd say higher profile people you would typically think were traditionally publishing, are going self-publishing because of the opportunity to make more money. I have clients who will make tens of thousands of dollars on books sold to people who eventually become clients of theirs. It's a lot easier to make money that way than it is to make money off of volume. You know, the old model of selling as many books as you can, you know, it can be nice, but it's not really the typical driver for authors. The authors that I work with are making money off of people who become clients of theirs. So it's important to think about how your book fits within your current funnel, sales funnel, you know, but it's also important to rethink the way that we think about book success. A lot of times when you think about a book that's been published and you think, how did they do this? How did they write this book? They probably didn't do it themselves. They may have worked with a ghostwriter or a coach. I do both of those things, mostly ghostwriting. It's such an empowering thing to be able to help authors share their message and to recognize that without working with me or somebody else like me, that they wouldn't have finished their book or wouldn't have been as strong as it can be. So there's so much upside to working with people and collaborating with people, but it's a hidden thing. That's why they call them ghosts. Ghostwriters are hidden. A lot of times they're not named. You don't even know that they're working on a book. I think back to one of the books I worked on, I ghostwrote, and it became a Wall Street Journal bestseller. And I was at the bookstore recently, and I'm looking at the shelves, and there's this book I ghostwrote. And no one knows I ghostwrote it. There might be 5 people in the world that know I actually ghostwrote this book, but I did. It's funny to me to think about that it's achieved this level of success, and it was written by somebody who you don't know about. And that's the case with a lot of books. So it can be really beneficial to work with a ghostwriter or coach to drive the momentum forward with the book writing and to make the book as strong as possible. So if you're struggling, if you're having a difficult time, and either time-wise, you don't have the time to work on the book, you don't have the energy to work on the book, writing a book is outside of your skill set, working with a ghostwriter or coach can help you cross that bridge. Because of all of these different options, because of all these different opportunities, it really reinforces the message that book writing is for everyone. Book writing is such an awesome thing. It's such a powerful thing. I've worked with CEOs and thought leaders who've been able to take the next step in their journeys by writing and publishing their book, who have seen their lives transformed by what it meant to write this book that was eluding them forever. Anybody can write a book. Anybody can bring a book forward, especially if you have help and you have some guidance and support along the way. But it can be so empowering and special. But it's easy when you're thinking about the obstacle of book writing, that this is elusive, that this is out of my control. This is something that isn't for me, and I don't agree with that. I think you do have a story, you do have a message, and if you think a book is the right path for you, I think you should explore it. I think you should keep that dream alive. You know, I think it's an awesome thing to be able to put your message in such a form as a book, something so timeless, something so powerful. You think about this time lapse that 50 or 100 years from now, somebody could read your book and learn from it. It's an awesome thing. So don't doubt yourself. Don't lose faith in the story that you have to share. And you know, if you need help in that process, get help to help bring your book forward, because it's worth it. It's definitely worth bringing your book forward. If you want to learn more about can anyone publish a book, I definitely want you to check out the next episode. I'll link to it on the screen. It's called How to Write a Book and Get It Published. In that video, I talk about purpose and how it can motivate you and drive you forward. I talk about book foundation work and kind of keeping you on the right track, and some of my favorite writing tips. So check it out. Remember, a good book can change your life. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.